So we previously explored why are we getting defensive. And now comes the most important aspect around defensiveness. It is to recognize it in yourself and in other people. Because if you don't recognize when people are getting defensive, how can you then give feedback that works? So let's explore together, how can we recognize it? For example, it can be people are getting suddenly aggressive in a meeting, or you give some kind of comments to someone and the person starts to blame maybe you, maybe the circumstances, maybe even the business market. So blaming, aggressiveness, and maybe they shut off too. These are all visible signs of aggressiveness. So for example, say that you wanted to give feedback to somebody that put forward a PowerPoint and you pointed out a little detail, just a detail, because you wanted to help the person. And the person gets aggressive to you and you maybe move back. This is a sign of defensiveness. So you can see defensiveness in many ways. It can be both visible in the way they're behaving with the body, verbally, they maybe get aggressive, or they behave strangely at one point. These are all signs of defensiveness. So let us look at how it could look like in reality.
First of all, Johnny did not deliver the order in time, and the quality department added some irrelevant requirements, and the business gate didn't approve until too late. And I always try to do my best to push others.
So I don't know what happened. The client changed the program. He added 1.5 extra hours, and I sent the notification exactly 30 days before the first day of training. So actually I have no clue why are they unhappy with us.
So why is it so important to notice defensiveness?
It's a very good question, because if you don't notice it and you continue to talk, the feedback you want to give the person will not land, because they are filled with protecting themselves. Maybe have some strategies. How can I get away from these uncomfortable situations? Because when you give feedback and it's not landing, well, the person then goes into resistance. So the main point is that if you at the same time are resisting, you cannot grow, because your mind is filled with thoughts, how can I get away from this uncomfortable situation?
Mm-hmm. I see. Thank you, Thomas. And when I notice resistance, what is best to do?
Well, the most obvious thing is to just stop. The person is defensive right now. Acknowledge it. Maybe say to the person, I notice this is uncomfortable for you. Can we stop for a moment? What is happening in you? Mm-hmm. So just stop, acknowledge. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise your feedback will not land. Just get back into connection with the person, the relationship again. Because when you have a relationship established again, then the person will take in what you're trying to tell them. But one important thing is that emotions don't need to be fixed. So for example, if this person is getting emotional, maybe even crying or upset, you just need to be present. You don't need to fix the person. If you just stay with the person, being present, the emotion step by step will slow down. And then you can continue on with your feedback. So you can have an open heart and still be firm on your feedback.
Okay, good. When I notice defensiveness in myself, what should I do then?
Because that's the most tricky part, isn't it? Yeah, to recognize defensiveness in ourselves. Because for most people, it's easy to see in other people, isn't it? But in yourself, it's more difficult. Why? Because when we're feeling defensive and we have reactions, if it's natural for us, we feel justified in our feelings. So you can notice in yourself, you're getting maybe aggressive, or you start to lose focus. Maybe you want to move away to another place. Maybe you're thinking about what shall I eat during lunch? You drift away. Or you start to blame, giving explanations. So the trick is to notice it in yourself. And few people can do that in the moment. Afterwards you may say, I think I got defensive there when I got that feedback. So we want in this training to increase our ability to notice in ourselves. Because then you, as the receiver of feedback, can also stop the conversation and say, sorry, I noticed I got defensive. Can you please repeat that? So let's just summarize. What is important around recognition? It is your ability to notice, both in the receiver and in yourself. So the next couple of days, it's about to recognize defensiveness.
Tell me more.